I'm Johnny Tooby.
I'm Hopeless Romance.
And we're bringing our brand new fan fiction, Lion King meets the Twilight Zone. It's basically a short little fanfic that I wrote, created by Rod Serling. That's the Twilight Zone, and of course the Disney animation Simba and Tojo and Kula and Nala are owned by Walt Disney Animation Studios. And this was an inspiration by me from therealSimba. He wrote another fanfic. The author of therealSimba wrote another fanfic, and I just kind of was inspired to write this thing. This is actually supposed to be my last fanfic, but unfortunately, other things came up, so I just wrote this short little 2-chapter story. So we hope you enjoy The Twilight Zone meets The Lion King. Chapter 1. Simba returned from a long day of patrolling the Pride Lands. He had wandered off and was alone as he was on his duty to do so. Nala was off leading the hunts. His major domo was sick. Everyone was in need somewhere. Simba didn't realize that he had wandered so far to the east of the Pride Lands. In fact, he walked into the fog. When the fog cleared, he thought everything was all turned around. Unfortunately, he did not know that he was going the correct way.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Simba thought he was walking back when he heard an explosion. Worry and fear gripped him. He began to run. Faster and faster his heart raced, but soon it calmed as he entered familiar land. It was his home from birth, the Pride Lands, or so he thought.
My goodness, I've been gone for a long time. A long while, but it's still daylight. How interesting, Simba thought.
Simba walked to borders to see the wonderful grasses of the land he called home. The glistening sun was bright, and the sight of the familiar streams, trees, and water holes came into view. Far off into the distance was the giant rock monolith that was home, Pride Rock as he and the animals called it.
Simba continued to walk, and his thoughts of his queen filled his mind. I hope Nala is doing well with the hunt. She learned from her mother and my mom as well, the two best hunters in the Pride Lands. The king smiled at the thought of his mate in his walk. His ears rose, hoping to hear the sounds of birds. But there was nothing. It was quiet. No birds chirped and no animals were around. He shook his head, thinking animals were hiding from him. He was the king of the Pride Lands, and there was a reason to fear the king. Then again, it was kind of strange not seeing anyone or anything. Not even elephants, which were known to roam whether the king was about or not. No sign of large creatures.
His ears went back. Maybe they're on a long migration, he chuckled. Finally, they took my advice, those stubborn pachyderms, Simba thought. Simba continued to walk and look around.
He looked around again. It was awfully quiet around here. Wonder if I could find the hunting party Nala was leading. Maybe we could spend some time together away from the pride. The king heard himself chuckle again and heard the direction he knew his hunting party was going for the time of day.
That's odd, he softly said. They're not here. Not even the animals. Before he could fully process this, a piercing noise sounded in his ears. Simba winced in pain after a moment. The noise stopped, much to his relief. He looked around once more, thinking on where the hunt party might be. They could be on a long-distance hunt. I hope they get home soon.
Ah, what is that noise? Again! Again went the noise. And it was getting louder and louder. What is that noise? I cannot concentrate, he was thinking. The noise then stopped, and then he was fine again.
Maybe there's a long-distance hunt. I hope they get home soon, he thought. Maybe I can pay my friends to Tojo and Lua and see how they're doing, he said.
Simba walked where the Cut Slasher's cave was.
Maybe they're on a... Hello? Hello? Anyone home? He yelled in their cave.
Not a sound of response.
That's strange. Usually someone's home at this time of day. I know they have a cub. What was his name? Kaga? Kuvo? It doesn't matter. Maybe they're taking him hunting, or maybe they're back at Pride Rock.
Turned away from the cave as the piercing noise came again. Ah! His ears fell flat against as he heard the noise. He growled. What is that noise? His left ear, and he's gritting his teeth.
That's it. I need to see Rafiki. The ruler was thankful that the shaman's keep was nearby his friend's home. He hoped the mandrill was somewhere in the tree. The sky was turning to the color of night.
When he arrived to the tree, he looked upward. Rafiki, are you there? He called out. His ears rose and fell back again. No reply. Rafiki! He tried again with an incisive voice. Rafiki! Rafiki! Still nothing. Simba was getting frustrated. Time to return to Pride Rock. Maybe everyone is there.
While he ran home, the noise returned, and the more he continued to run, the louder the noise increased. He forced himself to bear it until he reached Pride Rock's base. The giant monolith was home to many generations of Pride Land royalty and its lion pride. The beauty never ceased to amaze him, even when he felt the panic at the events of today.
Simba ran up to the main cave. Is anyone here? Nala! Tojo! Rafiki! He even called out to Bluey! One of the birds who stayed with Tojo and replaced Zazu as the king's major domo of the Pride Lands.
Hello, hello, he repeated even louder into the main cave. Anyone? Nala, Bluey, Rafiki, Tojo, he yelled. Simba got frantic. It then suddenly was dark. Odd, it just went dark like that.
No one came out to greet him. He went to the rock steps to look downward. No one was around. It was like they just vanished. Even Nala, my mate, my other half. He felt his emotions at the reality of everyone he ever cared about in his life being gone like this. Where are you? Oh, I better get some sleep. This is ridiculous. Maybe they'll be back in the morning. I'm going crazy.
Darkness had settled in, and Simba was tired. He thought about his shaman, his major domo, his friends, and of course his love.
Exhaustion started to weigh in on him. He wanted to sleep. That's not a bad idea. They might return in the morning. Simba lay down on a rock and closed his eyes, hoping good rest would calm him when he woke up to all of this and everything would be fine in the morning. The strange disappearance of the animals of the lands and his friends and his mate and their pride, not to mention the high noises that were heard throughout the day, would be nothing but in his dream he wanted. He prayed for it all through the night and grunted and panted.
When he woke up, the smell of water buffalo entered his nose. He got down off the rock platform, thinking that such a smell was the reason behind the hunting party's strange absence, or so he had hoped. He wanted to see the lioness. As soon as he was out of the cave, nothing was there. No one was there, not even the water buffalo.
He was startled. Did I smell a scent of water buffalo? Why did I smell something if not to be there? Where should I look? I don't know where to go.
Then a shocking thought. He should have considered yesterday but didn't come to his mind. Could his pride be in the elephant graveyard or the outlands? His eyes grew wide at the idea. Fear gripped him as he made a run down the rock steps and into the grass, running as fast as his legs could carry him. His stomach growled. He hadn't eaten, which was a rare thing for him.
Hello! He yelled in the elephant graveyard. Nothing. Silence.
In the midst of running and feeling his heart pound, he stopped. What was he doing? Why was everyone in the Pride Lands be in the elephant graveyard or the outlands?
It makes no sense. Sighing in defeat, he returned to the Pride Rock and he stood in the promontory.
He wanted to call out, but confusion filled him, followed by panic. He looked out into the distance. There was still nothing. Nothing at all.
No sign of animals or lions or anyone else. Where is everyone? Are they dead? If they are, how? No, that's impossible, he shook his head. They can't be dead. If they are, where are the bodies?
Filled with anger and frustration, rage and confusion, he let out a tremendous, painful, "It would be in vain. This can't be right," he said to himself. "It just can't be."
He's in a state of shock. We can't take it anymore, said a male voice. His heart rate is way above normal, said another. No, said someone else. We must continue the experiment for the good of the trip to City Alpha 2, or we'll never know.
"No, please, my husband has had enough. The test was a failure. Lance can't tolerate this kind of free sleep for such a long time," Nala pleaded to the doctor.
As you wish. Release him, Dr. Becker, the doctor ordered. Sir, you'll have to go to the recovery room, and this may shock him too.
"Please let me be with him," Nala said. "I will recover his memories."
Well, the patient is waiting, and his heart rate is way too high. The doctor proceeded and brought the crimson-red Maine lion to the sleeping bag that on the gurney and brought him to the recovery room.
Nala followed the doctors to the room where Simba would be revived to join the real world.
Mr. Simba J. Lion, test subject in the Twilight Zone. This is Johnny 2B.
And this is Hopeless Romance.
Thank you. Have a good night.